Warning. Uncharted planet detected. Scanning. Scanning. Warning. Life form detected. Life form identified. Craig A. Glesner of Thornwood-Daarnulud LLC. Incoming transmission.
Greetings, travelers, and welcome to Traveler RPG Headquarters. You can find our Facebook group by searching our name in the Facebook search tool or find a link in the video description below. Thank you for participating in our third annual Mayday Traveler Day event. It's a day we celebrate Traveler and all its additions and offshoots for all the fun times it's given us around the gaming table with friends and family. I'm your host, Frank Succardi, also known as CyborgPrime, and today I'm happy to introduce Mr. Craig A. Glesner of Thornwood-Daarnulud LLC. Welcome, Craig.
Yo, thanks for having me back again.
Yes, thanks for coming back. This is your second time supporting the event, so thank you very much.
No problem. Actually, technically, it's my third time. It's only my second interview.
Oh, well, thank you. That's right.
Yeah,
You've been contributing to our prize packs all along, so thank you very much for supporting the community with that and supporting the Facebook group.
Oh, no, I thought it was a brilliant idea when you first did it. So, I mean, I got to keep backing it. As long as I'm around and kicking, I'm pretty much open to, backing it.
Great. It's great to have you back.
Again, it's good to be back.
Cool. So, for people who have never met you before, why don't you tell me about yourself? How old are you? Where are you from? Where'd you grow up? Stuff like that.
In about 2 weeks, going to be 55. So I will officially be a speed limit. Beep, beep. Okay.
Happy birthday.
Yeah. I'm like literally going to the doctor the day after. It's like, yeah, congratulations, you're 55, and here's your doctor appointment.
I have some aches and pains scheduled.
Oh, I do. Oh, yeah. But I get those treated finally. Speaking of which, I have to take my meds later today. But so, yeah, Midwest, Milwaukee. I am from Beertown. Except for a brief foray into Peoria, Illinois area, actually Morton, Illinois. A place that looks nothing like it did when I was a kid, because like it grew half again as big. But spent a bit of time down there, came back, like watched all my moon rockets down in Illinois, actually. It's the one nice thing I got about that. And then moved back here, lived in New York City for a year, 2000 to the 2001, and then came back to Milwaukee, and I've been floating about ever since. And in a weird full circle way of my life, I am now living like 3 blocks from my old high school. In a neighborhood I swore I would never come back to. Rent was like,
so weird.
But I got the best rent. Oh no, dude, I lived like 3 blocks from where my parents lived on the east side back when they were young. Twice. Like literally lived around the corner from the place that I was born at. And one day when I was walking literally from my new place I just moved into on Locust, I was going over to Holton to the gas station, and I walked by this house with a hill and a picket fence around the top of the hill in a yard, and realized I had got a splinter on that fence back when I was a kid, because I remembered the building across the way as well. And it was also where I said goodbye to my very first cat when we moved, because I didn't get to keep him. But, I got a better one. Well, so, ooh, that's bad. I'm sorry, lucky bones. Yeah, he was a kitten. I was a kid. We were moving. He's mostly the cat I remember from pictures that my parents had. Whereas Resner is, he goes in books now because he was my baby kitten. So
it's nice to have pets. Sad when they leave us.
Oh yeah, Ship's cat. Had one for 22 years.
Wow, that's a long-lived cat.
Yeah, everybody says that, but I was shooting for 25. I know it could be done. My mom's cat did like almost 30. I mean, that cat was ancient. Pandora. My mom's cat.
So have you has gaming always been part of your life? Did you have like family gaming night or whatever when you were a kid? Or
My mother, I just think I remember my mom screaming at my father. Yeah, it was skeletons in the closet coming out. Yeah, at my dad because he spent $250 on a Pong set.
like
Do you remember?
electronic Pong?
Yeah, like when it was
Pong?
just, yep, exactly. Not Atari. Pong. It's a tennis game. We do not have that kind of money. Blah, 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 blah. And next thing you know, now we have an Atari because mom, got tired of whooping everybody's ass in Pong because it was a tennis game. And she's like super good at angles and trigonometry and all that crap in her head, apparently, because yeah, she started smoking. Yeah, my mom smoked me at video games.
Yeah,
That's why I'm kind of like, I don't really care for PvP because, like, literally, my mom smoked me as a child. You cannot humiliate me anywhere near as badly as I've already been done, son.
one of my first computers was an Atari 800, and I had a cartridge for Pac-Man, and apparently my mom would play it after I went to bed or whatever. And found out later that it had a lot of meaning to her, and then so I pulled it out again, and she handed me my ass. Yeah, it was humiliating.
Isn't it crazy how we grew up in a generation where our parents would talk shit about us playing video games and then grew up to bought like really big computers so they could play like all the really cool video games? One of the best
It's nice to
compliments I
teach
got.
your parents something.
I mean, yeah, dude, it's funny because I see all these memes about like old people don't know technology, and it was like, wow, Generation X. Like, we really were kind of X because we grew up at that crossroads of like all this shit became real. Like, and our parents were whooping our asses. It was like, I don't have to tell my parents how to use Facebook. If they don't understand how to use Facebook, well, then how did they get the Facebook page? Pretty sure my folks know how that shit works.
Right.
Like, my dad had an Osborne, the original quote unquote portable business computer. It shit weighed like 60 pounds, dude. Huge, heavy thing, big 8.5.
Yeah, the keyboard would fold into the front and latch on, and you could carry it around like a suitcase.
Yes, you remember those bad boys.
And K-Pros were the same way. Yep.
Yeah, my dad had one of those because he was did taxes and insurance.
That's crazy.
Insurance salesman and tax professional. So yeah, like he literally bought one and wrote it off as a tax. It was an expense because hey, he needed it for his business. So yeah, my mom plays a mean-headed cribbage. My family is ruthless with hotels. You are going to be bankrupt or paying your rent. One of the two. Don't land on park no more. I can't believe I landed on it though. It's bogus, man. You never land on park, please. No, not that time. Anyway, you owe me $1,200 in rent.
Yep.
I don't have that. I'll take that railroad. Oh man.
So it sounds it sounds like gaming has always been part of your life.
Yes. I taught my sister chess, and she promptly whooped me 3 out of 5 games.
I've been playing chess my whole life, but I've never won a game until I beat my niece, and then I got up and I did an end zone dance. I was like, "In your face, little kid!" Yeah, it was pretty unsportsmanlike of me.
I know. But you know what? Don't feel bad. Sometimes they deserve it, okay? My friends and one of my friends, Terrence, had his kid, Dante, 12 years old, dude. We were playing GoldenEye on the N64. And he played Top Knot or whatever the fuck, the dude with the hat. And you squished him down and he would get on his knees, and dude, he would just wipe the floor with us. He would just come around the corner, blast your ass, and then giggle. So yeah, whenever we scored on him, we totally dunked on him. Don't even. And you're right, it's terrible sportsmanship. But like, I got dunked
Oh wait,
on
I just said a really bad example. Oh well.
Yeah, well,
it felt good to win.
It did. They were like in our 20s and getting dunked on by a 12-year-old. It's like, man, dude, you think it's bad on the internet? Some kid I don't even know. No, it's worse when he's sitting right next to you on the couch. Okay. Yeah, I don't mind getting dunked on by some 12-year-old across the planet who I've never met. It is embarrassing when I have to come back to this house and this kid's going to smoke me next week, too.
Yep.
You know? Shut
So,
up.
so regarding sci-fi, do you have and how sci-fi fits into your life? Do you have a favorite sci-fi book or TV show or movie that inspires you or has inspired you?
I have Anne McCaffrey, of all people, because my parents got me a copy of Dinosaur Planet. And I waited the 20 years for the bloody sequel to come out. And then finally, I did get a sequel. And I'm super glad because she died shortly thereafter. And yeah. So Anne McCaffrey, because of her Federation, Louis Old Masters, whose name and hopefully I got right because Miles Verkozigan is just the awesomest. And CJ Cherry because I like her Alliance Union Compact Space. And it reminds me a lot of Traveler in some ways.
A lot of people have said that during these interviews.
My honey, my Island are straight up the honey. I am not even going to lie. Shanor is in my house setting in my head. Yeah, they would totally be part of the world. It's because also, those are, also, Heinlein and Pornell, and Niven and Pornell specifically. Molten God's Eye. I have read it, so I know where black gloves come from. I had my schooling back in the day. Also, I love that deployables are back on sticks in Traveler 5 because that's like, yeah, I read that book. I know exactly why that works that way. And Starship Troopers because, that and, Stranger in a Strange Land. Those are the two serious ones. Yeah, Niven and Pornell's Codominium and Second Empire Man stuff. And Ian Banks' The Culture. I cannot even lie. I love The Culture.
Recommend that.
I hate The Culture, though. I love the idea and everything. I love the universe. I hate the fact that we're stuck in a control zone where they're deliberately letting us be a balkanized a low-tech civilization that they don't fuck with. Sorry, shit, sorry. You can beat that later. Hopefully. Sorry. But no, I love I hate I love the fact that we're in there, but that they won't talk to us. And it's just like, oh my God, because I could live in a universe like that. Yeah, I'm a crazy, weird person by their standards, but I like that it's a universe, an actual functional utopia in a weird way. And I like that they're democratic. And like all democracies, it's like, look, we don't want to go to war with you, but if you're really going to push things, we're a democracy. And once we decide we're going to war, that's it. We're done. We stop playing around and we get very deadly and we will freaking destroy you. And apparently that was the thing the Germans talked about in both world wars was like, the Americans, yeah, they start off really crappy, but they remember how to fight quicker than anybody else in the whole planet. Like, America does war. If there was an interstellar experience, universe, civilization out there, society, we could sell Americans as mercenaries. I think we could get a pretty good penny for us. We humans make war really well, and America makes war probably better than anybody else, which is kind of sad.
Hopefully it'll help us when the invaders from space come.
Yeah, I just saw a little bit of the ending of the remake of The Day the Earth Stood Still, and I've always loved that movie for the Secretary of Defense going, no, really, dum-dum, you're not understanding it. We're the natives. The aliens are the white people. We're going to lose. There is nothing we can do to beat them.
Right.
They came here from somewhere else. I love those happy-go-lucky Independence Day stories because they're totally just chock full of fun and complete and utter unreality, because the truth is unless they die like the Martian and H.G. Wells.
Yeah, right. Yeah, if they have that, if they're high tech enough to travel across space to come here, they are high tech enough to vaporize us where we stand.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things Traveler is really good about pointing out. Fusion guns and battle dress win.
You want to play in battle dress? Okay, the other guy's going to have battle dress.
No, not if we're on planet Earth. Invasion Earth, kids, is not as cool as you think it's going to be. That's only cool in that game because there's an almost equal tech level with Terra and the Villani Empire.
Right. So do you have any? Do you have any hobbies aside from gaming?
History, kind of, I guess. International relationships, military history. Yeah, I'm a nerd. I'm kind of into a lot of stuff. I used to be a lot more into my military stuff and my police stuff, but I've since calmed that authoritarian side of myself down a little bit. But yeah, I read law books for fun sometimes. I mean, I'm super dorky.
That's very nerdy. Yeah, it's like reading the encyclopedia or the dictionary.
I've done that. That's how you learn stuff.
Right. Even if it's stuff you don't care about. Okay, so in the spirit of Traveler, I'm asking folks to stat themselves. So
yeah, I saw that. So I believe it was skills like
you get 3. A standard Traveler. Well, at least in Mongoose, and you get 3 background skills plus modified by your education. But we're just going to say. I
don't know.
3.
It depends on which version or which edition you're going to go with. Because I have some forgery skills and stuff.
Okay, you can use any edition. That doesn't have to be canon. Like you don't have to be totally familiar.
Specifically, Jot. Jot has been always my big one.
Okay, so we got forgery, jack of all trades.
And
you picked up forgery as a kid? Interesting.
Yes, I did.
You don't have to give us details. What's the third?
$10,000 and 10 years if they decided to waive me into adult court.
Yeah, let's not talk about that.
No, I was a minor. I mean, it was literally the ADA was just like, you're kind of a screwed up kid, and I see your home life probably ain't as cool as we think it is. Yeah, don't do this again.
Okay. All right. So your forgery skill is legit.
My forgery skill is legit. It was not just kids. I did my homework stuff. That's where it started. And then there was some running away.
Gotcha.
Yeah, no. Mr. Craig had a definite childhood felony charge.
I see. So what's your third skill then?
Bureaucracy.
Bureaucracy. All right.
I can literally generate paperwork that like actual people in the legitimate field have looked at and thought was real. I had a friend of mine making me some copies of back when I was running my superhero law enforcement game in the 90s. I had some handouts where I literally had all the paperwork genned up in Word, and building forms in Word is tough, but once you get it, oh my God, can you make some primo looking stuff? Because she had been printing me out actual formage for the game because she worked at a Kinko. So she was like, yeah, no, let me whip some shit up for you. We can use it in the game. It'll be cool. And apparently the cops came in and saw that and thought it was for an actual agency. So, yeah, my forgery and my bureaucracy skills are top notch. Of the revolution, I got our papers.
So, one of the other things in Traveler character creation is the decision to go to university or to the military.
I did not. I went to university, but not as a student. That's where I got Traveler from. I ended up hanging out with some friends in the boarding house I was living at, and they were going to college. So I ended up hanging out with the history gaming nerds on the 3rd floor of the UWM Union. And they played Traveler, and so that's where I got my start playing Traveler.
I see. All right. Sometimes in Traveler you get drafted, even though you apply and then you get rejected, but then there's a draft and you still go into the same thing.
No, my draft came
if
close
there was
to
a draft that you couldn't escape, Well, if there was draft, nobody's answered conscientious objector yet. But if there's a draft, which military branch would you hope they put you in, or expect they would put you?
You want to hear the crazy part? I have literally almost drowned as a kid. I know you can go under more than 3 times and still live, but only because my mom dragged me out of the water. But I will always be in, and I will go to sea because I sat on the railing of the United States sailing ship Constitution. I have been a Navy man since before I was a man. Like age of 6, I sat on America's flagship.
Nice.
I'm done. And first man said I'm set foot on the moon was a Navy man. Those are commander's boots. So yeah, Navy.
All right, go Navy.
Blue and gold forever.
All right, so then we have your personal stats: strength, dex, endurance, intelligence, education, and social standing.
My dex still hasn't gotten too sloppy, so that's probably still like maybe an 8.
Okay.
My strength and endurance are like 4 if I'm being cool with myself and pretending I'm probably in better shape than I am physically. But those last 3, I'm doing pretty all right. I'm not gonna lie. I think I might have up to a B or C possible intelligence. I'm not I'm not F, but I am pretty whip smart. I'm close enough I can see F. And that's the frustrating part. It's like I'm just close enough to go, oh, I see you up there. Education, that actually probably, I don't have any degrees, but considering the amount of study and the things I know, I'm going to have to actually say I probably have about at least a C in education, I think.
Okay.
I'm pretty well rounded on education. I mean, you hang out with history nerds, you learn a lot about Renaissance and what that really did and what kind of person a Renaissance man really was required to know. I can do most of the things that Highlands as an adult should be able to do, minus the butchering an animal. I haven't done that yet, but I can raise a kid. I can keep a house pretty much squared away, all that kind of stuff. Social, in my traveler community, probably up there. I mean, technically, I'm a privy counselor to His Majesty the Emperor. I have a commission as the seventh captain of the Imperial Guard. So I got a duchy and stuff. So that pretend-wise, I'm awesome. Real life, 6 if I'm lucky on a good day, because I have a job and I've had it for 25 years. So, but the pay is more like 4. Yeah, my social's kind of depends on where you are. But the truth is realistically, social is always like that. When you're in the letters of social and hanging out in those with those letter people, your letter's not a big deal. When you get down to the lower numbers, those letters, even that A, starts becoming something much more serious than it is when you're hanging out with other A-level people. I think it magnifies depending on where you are on the scale. I mean, because it does in real life. Let's face it, Jeff Bezos does not hang out with, us proletariats.
Right. So all right. So
sanity, psionics. I have a rating, I think, maybe.
But I can't discuss
it. High. Well, the Imperial Naval Intelligence makes you sign a lot of forms to stay alive.
Right. So what do you do in your spare time to support your gaming hobby? Do you have a gaming group or hang out at the game store, go to conventions, stuff like that?
I just nerd in my books. Not even going to lie. I had a gaming group, but I kind of an asshole in real life. And maybe kind of drove those people away, which I'm very sorry for if they hear this. Guys, I'm really sorry for snapping. But things weren't too good at the house at the moment. So I kind of, ever since the cat died, my emotions have not been as stable as they used to be.
Well,
it's really sad thinking you're dude, I am 55, and I thought of myself as a perfectly competent adult. Handling my shit, no matter how brain broke I am, I'm like, I got it together. I am paying my bills. I am being a productive member of society. I'm not institutionalized. I haven't killed and beat nobody up or none of that happy crap. I'm a citizen, man. And then my cat up and dies, and I find out I do not handle my emotions very well. And a lot of the times I basically realize that, yeah, it's because I literally would look at, Glesner, and if he was freaking him out or making him upset, that I would tone my stuff down because I realized that, I was over a line, and I don't have that feedback in the same way. And, now just kind of, occasionally piss my roommate off because I'm inadvertently being an asshole. Which is a thing I kind of do. And sometimes I mean to do it, sometimes not so much. And with my friends, it's definitely not a thing I'm trying to do.
Right.
I
Hopefully
say
your friends will forgive you. You seem pretty sincere in your apology there.
Yeah, well, sometimes, yeah.
Apologize and make
Patterns of
amends. That's the best way.
behaviors. Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
That's what I
and
try to do.
honestly, COVID hadn't exactly helped that either.
Yeah, tell us what's how has COVID affected your gaming and stuff? What have you been up to this past year?
It's scared the hell out of me, frankly, is what it's been doing, because I already have a lung infection. So, excuse me, sorry about that.
That's right.
Like, yeah, like I have to
You're in
be
a high risk group.
all sorts of,
Yeah.
yeah, I am in a super high risk group. I'm, like I said, about
multiple high risk groups.
And I am a dispatcher, so I am an essential worker person, effectively, because I work for a security company. We got to be there, and so I'm there, and somebody in the office already caught it, so that was always fun. Yeah, and then I kind of got really wiped out and ended up having to go to the hospital, which I've been kind of avoiding trying to do all last year, even though I really felt like I probably should, because I'm like, I want to go to the hospital during plague. It's kind of like I don't want to go to jail during plague. It's like those are places where there's a lot of people concentrated, but
I had a kidney stone, and I was like, I didn't want to go. I waited till the middle of the night when nobody would be there, and I went to the urgent care.
Oh yeah.
And I was still freaked out the whole time.
Oh yeah, no, kidney stones. I feel your pain. I literally,
no They passed on their own.
Yeah.
Away.
Oh yeah, but still, let's be honest. It's not fun when they come out.
No, not fun.
But on the other hand, that little tink is like, oh, thank God, finally you're out. Okay, I really got to stop drinking this soda, man.
My friend was passing a kidney stone, and they sent him home with this filter thing to pee in to catch and the poor guy. I mean, he was on the floor retching and vomiting from all the pain he was in, and he comes out. He's like, "Oh, I finally passed it." We looked at it; it was like a grain of salt. We're like, "You were crying over that?" And we were teasing her, right?
Oh,
We're like, "Oh, you were barfing over that?" It's horrible. So tell me how did you get into RPG gaming?
The aforementioned third floor.
That was your first exposure to RPGs?
Yeah, I met some people up there, and I don't remember how. But we used to go to we'd either be on the third floor of the Union, or we'd go down and hang out in the Guest House, which was this little, campus bar,
right?
Eatery,
okay.
Pub. I guess actually genuine kind of, pub. It was like eating food, cheap bar food, and pictures of beers and little booths and tables that we would co-opt and, play games. And that was, I don't know. I found my tribe. My tribe always been there. I ended up hitting the third floor, and we played Villains and Vigilantes. Actually, I take that back. I do remember CATC. I was in the Child Adolescent Treatment Center. D&D. I played a thief.
D&D. That's a lot of people's starting in gaming, and then they seem to go, this fantasy's fun, but I like sci-fi better, and then they head over to Traveler.
Yeah, but no, there was really, D&D was my first. Got all the way through the adventure, pressed the wrong button, instant disintegration, and my first look at nope, that's the dice, see? There's the chart, see? Oh. Well, that's screwed. Made all the way through the adventure and died. Yay! Why am I playing this game again?
Yeah.
Probably because I'm a masochist, because, I've been gaming like all my life and RPGing since high school.
As a GM, people have to in my opinion, learn to fudge the rules, because when you burn somebody like that, it's a lasting burn.
Well, the truth was, honestly, in a weird sort of way, it was kind of, as an adult, as a much older adult looking back on it, it's like, I don't know, it seemed thematically proper. Greed trap gets the thief in the end. I made it all the way to the end. I mean, the truth was, there really wasn't much more than just getting, cool stuff from buttons. I mean, it was a throne of 99 gems. I mean,
I see.
It's
like a magic vending machine.
Yeah, pretty much. At that point, the game is over anyway, in a weird sort of way. So getting disintegrated, no save, is probably in a weird sort of way proper.
Gotcha.
I mean, that's why I like the Justice League, that the Insidious Snyder cut was like, yeah, no, this is much more heroic, and there's more, justice is being done stuff. I mean, I like that.
Yeah, it was good. It was over the top epic, but it suited it.
Oh, dude, I'm sorry. When Wonder Woman came through that door, it was just like, oh, y'all are clowned in the next 10 seconds or less. Because, like, it's too late, dude. You're looking like you're going to do something. She's kicked in the door. It's already too late. She's a demigod. Y'all are smoke. And then I watched it, and I had to count. And I was just like, estimating in my head, okay, that guy's going to take about half a second to clown. Okay, that's going to be about a third of a second to move over here. That's about another half second or two there while she clowns these two dipshits. Okay, that dude maybe took up a whole second because you had to go catch him and throw him against the wall again. Really, Diana? Really? Because you just catching him wasn't going to break his back anyway. You decided to pancake him against the wall, which was totes cool. Yeah, dude. Then when she's running down that line, just going ding, 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 ding. And it was just like, oh my God, this is amazing. And Barry, Zach made Flash, and he did Flash and Cyborg right finally. They got actual story, and they deserved it, and their stories were boss.
Yeah, it was really good. I recommend, if you like superhero movies, go check it out.
Yeah,
so
it is.
How did you make the transition from D&D to Traveler? Do you remember your first introduction to Traveler?
Caveman in Space.
Okay.
Which makes rewatching Rome hilarious again. Like, oh yeah, I played that character. I was just probably as much of a dick. But yeah, I mean, I get it now, but I didn't get it at the time because, I mean, even though, dude, it's basically everybody else were a bunch of history majors, and I was just like 18, out the box, no real clue. Thought I knew. And so, yeah, when he said, basically he was taking this out of Roman history, I didn't get it. I knew nothing about Rome except that, the gods and stuff. Yeah. And the Athenian, or the Roman / Greek god sets. I mean, I was into my mythology, so I knew it that way.
Okay.
But, I had no idea about the Republic or the 12 Tables or the kings, and the whole point of Caesar trying to become king after we made a republic with the very essence of there shall be no kings. I mean, so yeah, and it's just like, yeah, your dad got killed and you have to go back and take the throne back. It's like, oh yeah, I know where that's from now, Ed. I get that now.
What about role-playing games hooked you and made it a fun thing for you to keep coming back to?
I thought I had the ability to be an actor once, but then I saw myself on camera trying to do acting for a friend's little film, and I'm terrible on camera. But I'm pretty damn good at a gaming table, weirdly enough. I just, imagination, read a lot. I like I like playing a more perfect version of myself with agency and power. All those things I don't have in real life.
All right. Fair enough. So it sounds like you're normally a player, or do you have a GM?
I do both. I have done a lot of. I once ran an entire house worth of friends, and I mean house, and is in 20 to 30-year-old dudes' house. So like that doesn't just mean the people living there; it means our friends. So like about a dozen people in a GURPS 1200 point all books game, where the game was a multiverse and you could have 1200 point characters, and I was going to roll with that shit. And I did for like almost a whole year. I actually kept that running and kept them going. And one of my characters was like Bruce Wayne and Lex Luthor because he was both very smart, had 150 points devoted strictly to nitpicks that were specialists in their particular fields, and he had more money than God. Oh no, because in GURPS there's levels of status and wealth that you can buy, and they're separate too. You can have a lot of money without having a lot of status, or you can have a lot of status without necessarily having a lot of money. And so he bought himself a decent amount of status, sufficient to be a sovereign of a nation, and then he had bought multi-millionaire on top of regular wealth and multi-millionaire. Millionaire, it was like wealth, some excessive level of wealth, and then there's a advantage for that's literally entitled multi-millionaire. And then he started buying that, and he had like $17 trillion at the start of the game, as I recall, and was basically king of Portugal.
Nice.
Oh yeah,
there's
and
a great
I
line in the movie. And what's your superpower? I'm rich.
I'm rich. Yeah, and that really was his superpower because he basically did what Bruce did. He's like, yeah, I am looking for teams of people. And he ended up amassing both player characters in addition to his nitpicks, and put together a team to get the hell off of planet Earth because the gods were going to destroy it. Because there had been a poker game and Odin won, and it was Ragnarok. So literally, their job was to build a spaceship for the Men in Black so that they could all get off planet Earth.
Nice.
So
what's your preference between player and GM? Would you rather be a player, or would you rather be a GM?
Oh, dude, that is a tough one. Honestly, player, because it's easier. Playing is your reaction. Player is, I have a wrench, you have a plot, I am sticking my wrench in your plot and seeing what pops out. As a GM, it is a lot of work. And then you have to account for the players are coming with their wrenches. So I've learned to wing it. Oh, excuse me. I've learned to wing it. So I'm a better GM, but I still like world building. I'm honestly, I like designing. That's what I really enjoy. I like building the sandbox more than I like playing in it. Either way.
So, what are your favorite aspects of travel? Do you like the world building stuff primarily? Or?
Oh my God. I am a naval architect for a reason in that book, sir. I mean, Greg Lee hired me for Cirque for my character building on Rob's recommendation. And yeah, he totally underpaid me, but he totally put my name on a cover. So I figure I'm kind of actually pretty okay with that. But that's because, yeah, I used to be, I don't know how good I am these days. I have to brush up a little. But I mean, I used to be the character guru. And I was pretty, and I still to this day, I'd like to think I'm pretty squared away on the ACS, the ship design, and I'm not a terrible hand at the makers, even though I love T5. I love it dearly. Oh my gosh. Gunmaker has got to be capable, it is capable of some of the most ridiculous things I have ever put to paper as weapons. I mean, I have guns that I built for like the tanks, basically vehicle mounted weapons with ranges that go in world range out to outer space. Like literally, I have tank plasma gun that I think can hit like geosynchronous orbit, like world range 12. Like, I see you on the horizon. Gadoom, gadoom, gadoom.
That's one thing I really like about T5 is it's like a toolkit to make a bunch of stuff, and it's very complete.
Oh yes, it is the ultimate crunch book, which I have been reading for. I mean, everything that we ever saw, and what it is it's weird enough. Is mostly what it is it's every rule we've ever seen for anything. I mean, you can see pocket empires in the extensions for the system generation. I mean, that is straight up pocket empires, and that's T4. You know, The cloning is more T4, mega traveler kind of things. I mean, yeah, it is very much the penultimate traveler in a lot of ways. And yeah, it's fair to say that in some ways, yes, it is more toolboxy than anything. But in all honesty, if you go back and look at the little black books and tell me those aren't toolboxes, kids. I mean, the original little black books are kind of thin on the details when you get really down into it.
True.
Excuse me. I mean, people are like, it's not a game, it's a bunch of rules. Yeah, so are little black books. And yet we managed to come out with an entire 10,000-year history of galactic imperial, empires.
Right.
That, So there is a game in there. It's just that,
Do you have a favorite traveler career?
Oh, noble.
Noble?
Always noble.
Always noble. You like to have a fawning entourage?
Actually, no, for the power.
Oh.
I actually read the Emperor's List, and I will never forget Cleon II. Like, no, I think I'm just going to quit and go do stuff for the Imperium with my little lower level titles. Somebody else can be Emperor. It's not my jam, okay? I like that. I thought that was really cool. And Norris said, yeah, I mean, I'm a middle class kid, and then I got to be a poor person, and suddenly that nobility looked really good. And honestly, it was my very first traveler character. I played a prince. I played Octavian. I mean, dude, of course noble is going to be my first choice. It was literally my first career. I mean, my social was off the hook, yo.
All right. Well, that explains some other things that we'll get to in a little bit. Do you have an all-time favorite story about something that happened in travel? Like a no shit there I was moment?
Honestly, getting into the beta. Weirdly enough, my no bullshit Robert was looking my friends in the eye and telling them, I'm going to go into the Star Chamber and see if I can become part of this little gig. And I did. I was on Cody, and it was just like, so what's up with this T5 beta, Don? And Don McKinney, bless his awesome heart, was like, what's up is, I don't see your name on the list. I'm like, well, my name should be on the list. I've been playing this game, and I started whipping out like all the books I had, how long, all the things I knew. And I was like, look, I just don't have the CD right now. But if you let me in, I will let you know when I do get it, because I am going to get it. I just don't have $45 right now. I am a working person. And he let me into the beta strictly on my word of honor as a noble.
Nice.
And he was like, look, I'm for real.
Don't you know who I am, sir?
I know, buddy.
I insist you let me in.
I actually did my hybrid manipulation. I walked my ass into the Star Chamber and stayed. And I'm a privy counselor now. And oh man, that job is not as cool as you think it is, kids. Oh no, dude, I love classic. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I made it a point to collect every last one of the adventures, so that I could finally have a complete black book collection of all the adventures and all the books.
Oh,
and I do.
That's awesome.
I have that now. Thank you. It is, and in fact, actually, not better than that. I have something like the Sky Raiders, the fossil ones, with maps. Oh, which I found out is super rare. But I just lost my train of thought. Sorry, because I was trying not to cough.
You're talking about your collection of the adventures, the little black books collection.
Yeah, but the thing is with T5, we're supposed to be coming up with this brand new milieu, and it's like a brand new setting. And I swear the hardest thing is killing me about this is everybody kind of wants. It's like everybody keeps trying to go back to the old stuff, and like we're just gonna update it to the new edition. And it's like, no, guys, we need to make new stuff. We need to. I mean, that's why I'm putting my trying to work on the Shackleton and get the Shackleton finished to start, because that's kind of the first chunk of trying to do something new with the new rules as opposed to just regenerating and revamping and regarbaging the same thing over and over again. It's not that I don't love that stuff. I will always watch a new Appleseed, but I know every damn one of them is going to be the same story. Do not NPR, or else they get discovered by Olympus Flat and go off to the brand new city, and then some asshole will try to kill the bioroids. They will prevent it. It's the same story that we've been seeing for the last 20 years. The man wrote like 7, 8, like maybe 8 volumes of Appleseed since then. And it's the same problem. Everybody keeps telling the same comfortable ass stories. And it's like, yes, that story is very cool. Yes, this interpretation is its own little cool thing. You need to do something different, though. Move on. Go advance things. Make new stuff. And I swear, this is the thing that's driving me the most mad about T5 right now is the potential is just not being fully utilized, in my opinion. I am like, we should be cranking out more new. You know, we have, I mean, look at the stuff we have in T5. There's everything there that you ever could have want to see in Traveler. How do clones work? How do genetics work? How do alien races work? How do senses go function? You know,
Right.
There's literally everything. Doing another version of the classic era is just kind of like not taking advantage of all those tools. It's like that stuff's been done. We need to do new things. I mean, say what you want about Mongoose, you know, weirding things out or whatever from what I hear, but at least they're doing stuff. They're doing some new stuff, it looks like.
Right.
And I think
maybe people are like more comfortable with the old stuff and want to bring that over first before they start. I mean, I'm not involved, but who knows?
I'm just saying. I think if we want to keep trying. This game is 45 years old. A lot of us playing it are you're moving up in our years. Mark fought Nam for crying out loud. That happened when I was a kid. I'm 55. You know, our generation, we need to pass this. We need to do something to invigorate it and give it to draw in the new blood, to pull them in. And I mean, I think another problem is that a lot of the old hands of Traveler grew up still with you know, that kind of Mark's generation of understanding of the history. You know, that in a weird way, Niven and Pornell and Heinlein and stuff are still kind of old school. And the truth is, the modern kids, the kids growing up now, they don't have that. They have Star Wars, they have Star Trek, and thankfully, just now they're getting The Expanse. So they're just now getting a look at something that we would consider far more Traveler.
So let's say you're at a gaming store and you see some kids who are brand new to Traveler. They just sit down at the table. You see them unwrapping the Traveler book. And there's some that are obviously the group of players, and there's one kid who's got the referee book, and they're all like, "What the hell? How do we do this?" What advice would you give to the new Traveler player?
Don't get attached to your first character, because they're gonna die right there in charge it. But you know what?
My first player's gonna die. No, go ahead. I agree.
And it's gonna be awesome because it will teach you the ins and outs of a game that has some of the best mechanics in the world. That game is called Charging. And it is nothing. Enjoy that because it is like no other game in the world. And also, from the age of 55, let me tell you, kids, I know you're thinking aging royals are bullshit, but they're not. They are very, very real, and you never get to roll on the table that you want. I mean, you can, but personal development table, roll on it, but don't think you're getting that endurance back. You will probably get one more social. Run with that. Yeah, to enjoy the fact that it's not D&D in a weird way. I mean, don't disrespect to D&D. Like I said, I grew up on it. I love my levels as much as anything. But the thing I think to really enjoy about Traveler is how it is not level dependent, how it's skill and stat dependent. It's dependent on the character. You can take just about anything that game gives you and run with it. And that is a thing that is kind of rare in gaming. I love the randomness. Enjoy the randomness.
Right.
Enjoy the fact that it is not going to go step by step. It's going to jump around and come back at you and swerve. And yeah, it's one of the last of the random generation systems. And
I like that advice. You're going to die, kid, but it's going to be
yeah,
awesome.
but it's going to be awesome. And it will. It will. You will get heartbroken over 30 minutes of numbers. And that 30 minutes of numbers is going to matter when you die in that fifth term because you fail your scout survival roll. You are going to be crushed. It's going to hurt. And then you realize, like, that was really cool. I had a lot of fun, especially if you get a referee who is good enough to kind of RP. And this is to answer your second question because I saw it was what kind of advice would I give to the referee?
Mm-hmm.
Everything's a story. Even charging. Some of the best charges I've had have been just little vignettes where, like, it was 1 or 2 dice rolls after the original dice roll. Okay, you get wounded. Well, let's see. How did you get wounded? Well, you were on an operation. Let's see. Okay, you were fighting some rebels, and then you just came out a little bit. You let them get rolls with the skills that they got. Like, oh, you got gun skills, so you should probably do some shooting and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It takes. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. It takes a pretty skilled referee, and I don't always have that my damn self. But everything's a potential story, and let them throw wrenches. Just grab those wrenches and make something with them. That's the best thing I can think of as far as refereeing is.
So
they're going to wreck your railroad.
You had some people, you were talking about gaming and you mentioned Traveler, and you go, well, how do I get started? What would you recommend they get for their starter kit to play, not for their characters?
No, I know. Well, hopefully we're going to be getting something out for T5 from you 1900. I am definitely behind the scenes pushing on that because Leviathan was always good for that. I mean, that's one of the, it's not particularly well known, but I forget what it is. Basically Adventure Zero in the old classic Traveler.
Okay. So like the core rulebook plus 1 adventure.
Yeah, actually, the core rulebook. If you got a referee who likes creating things, you just need the core rulebook. I mean, I took that basic Regina star system or subsector C, the Spinward marches, and built around that just with those core books and made my own little thing. I didn't know about Forehaven, however you pronounce that. I just knew Regina because that was the one you get in the very first black book. Right. It's like Regina subsector C, or subsector C, the Spinward marches, or whatever it is. But I remember that's literally so. You got a good GM or a GM wants to put in the time. Yeah, just crank that out. Otherwise, just Traveler map and an adventure of some form.
Right. And so you see these kids now going through this supply catalog book. What 3 items would you recommend they have in their backpack, regardless of their career?
That's super easy. First of all, the backpack is, kids, never forget, an essential part of your gear. Because the backpack carries the rest of the gear. Always fire, always steel. You must have a fire starter. You must have a dagger or a knife of some sort.
Okay.
Preferably a multi-tool if you can get away with it.
All right. Other people have suggested multi-tools as well.
You cannot go wrong with candy, medicine, and string.
So what's going to be in your backpack? 3 things.
You see, that's not a fair question because my backpack is about 30 things.
I know, but you're poor when you start. You can only afford 3 things.
Well, if you can get your hands out of the Star Pass.
Star Pass?
Because 4 years of Middle Passage is pretty damn awesome as a traveler. Passages are always beautiful because you can sell them.
That's true.
And you get one high passage in that gear pack that you get is 10,000. It's like technically $8,000 when you sell it back.
Nice.
Which means you could still get a low passage at $1,000. Nobody likes doing it, but you're a PC, so the GM probably won't hose you.
Right.
Probably. I'm a lot less likely to hose you on a low berth because, you know, but yeah.
All right.
Fire,
cool.
steel,
Fire, blade,
passage.
and a star pass.
Yep.
All right. So tell us about Thornwood-Daarnulud. When did you start that?
More years than I'd care to admit. Yeah.
What types of things do you produce over there?
Right now, character sheet, and I'm working mostly on ships. That's I've still got my Shackleton, which this interview has made me like be a lot more focused on. And I also have something cool to finish in the Screaming Penny, which is my scout ship and a 600-ton merchant.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, I like to do weird stuff sometimes. I don't like doing the same thing that like there's a million copies of. I want to go with the odd duck, because it's like, I mean, there's like 1,000 100, 200-ton free traders out there. There's not a lot of 600-ton ones, you know. I'm not gonna lie, my scout ship, its big deal is it's high tech. That's it.
Right.
It's TL-15 as opposed to 12.
Gotcha.
And that's its big gig. Yeah, it's got a better jump range. It's got a little bit better acceleration. The computer is far snazzier. The accoutrements are going to be higher quality, of course.
Right. So what inspired you to create your first title?
The beta. The T5 beta really changed my life. I'm not going to lie. That sounds so stupid to say about a thing like a game beta, but it did. It really, Don letting me into that beta, like, literally changed my life in so many different ways. Because, yeah, I was just running one of my notorious never completed adventures on Citizens of the Imperium forum in the beta site. And I needed a ship for my players to go and deliver the ambassador, basically do the ambassadorial exchange for the year 1100.
Okay.
You know, shortly before the war breaks out. And so I was like, well, they're going to have to be a diplomatic group. So that means high end. We're going to probably want to have to do diplomacy stuff. So I'm going to send them with a count and this marquee that we got. So I need a yacht. And I'm like, that 200-ton basic yacht you get in Chargin is great for barons and knights. After you hit marquee, and especially at Viscount, that's way too tiny a ship. So I was just like, I'm going to create a big old yacht for, you know, worthy of high-level players and high-level characters and, you know, like counts and stuff and viscounts and maybe even poor dukes. And so that's literally, I did that. And then Mark Lucas was like, that's a really snazzy ship. And yeah, let me whip something up for you. And did those beautiful illustrations. And then.
Yeah, it's got some great 3D renderings, and I like the ship size comparisons.
Yeah, it's beautiful. My favorite picture, though, is just the one with the scale people, but that one never made it in. And then Stephanie, Michaela, I hope you pronounce your name, Steph, right? Did that bang up cover, which honestly I think has probably sold more books for me than anything, because it is a slamming cover compared to what I had.
How long did it take you to create that? Well, what was the name of that title?
That was the Herald-class Starship.
Okay.
Expeditionary yacht, 800 tons, jump 3, and I do believe G3 as well. It's got pretty decent legs. How
long did it take to put that production together?
A year or so, maybe. Afterwards, I decided to actually get really, really serious about it. The initial design went together pretty quick. Honestly, I can't lie. It takes me probably maybe about a week to actually finalize the design, you know, numbers-wise.
Right.
the hard part is getting deck plans figured out, and then it's all the writing. It's all the turning those numbers into something that looks and feels like a starship when you walk through it, and to help people visualize the feel of it, and that is super super hard. It's funny because I like to think of myself as being kind of good at it, but oh my god, it's a lot easier to do when you're not doing it for money.
Okay.
Because you just kind of slop it, and if your friend is like, "Dude, it's good enough,"
Fudge it informally and casual or whatever.
Yeah, and any mistakes are mistakes, and they just stand, and nobody cares.
Right.
And when you're doing it for money, it's like, there's a certain level of quality I want to put out.
Right.
That I want to make proper, so that it's worth your money.
Right.
So yeah.
So what's your favorite type of content to produce then? The maps, well, maybe not the map. Sounds like that might be the thing you like least, but
no, actually, there's a reason I hire people like Ian and stuff, and that is because I have learned it's probably better just not pretending I can do everything, because I can't.
Right.
And some people are way better at those other things than I am. And so, honestly, bases. I love building the base construct. I like building, weapons and vehicles and ships and worlds. I really wish I had a lot more people who could flesh them out. Honestly, I really want to be a line producer more than I actually want to be the sole author, it turns out.
So tell us more about what people will find in the Herald Yacht book.
Hopefully a super banging yacht that they will love and cherish. It will give them many, many happy hours of adventuring around the star systems of charted space, or wherever they do travel, in the utmost of style. It carries about, if I remember correctly, 12 to 18 member crew. It's particularly well armed. In fact, actually, if you know the right people and have the right licensing, you can get a early Black Globe installed. So I mean, that's just as you can see, it is for the high level traveler. So
right.
This is not your grubby free trader. This is for people who want crystal and champagne and a beautiful viewport out the back. So when you are leaving the planet, you can have luxurious views of it. Going, oh, look at that, we are there.
Goodbye, planet.
Goodbye, planet.
What aspect of the Herald book are you most proud of? That you want to humble brag about?
I was smart enough to say yes when somebody offered me to do stuff for me instead of letting my pride get in the way.
All right.
The truth be told, Ian and Mark and Steph have done some amazing work, and honestly, I should really finish up because they did a lot of superb work, which I'm sitting on and people are not seeing because I haven't done my end.
Right.
Truth be told, I'm being lucky enough to have good people around me. That's probably the thing I'm most happy about.
All right.
It's my best feature.
Will people find, aside from deck plans, any adventure seeds or?
Oh yes, there are a couple adventure seeds. Actually, I do believe we have 4 of them, or 6 or 4. I forget. Brief deck adventures. Also, there is, of course, transferring the Jordani ambassador back and forth and bringing the Jordani ambassador to Regina and taking the old one home. Yeah, that's. I don't know. I'm not really. Shackleton actually has an actual adventure, which George Ebersol has done for me.
Awesome.
So when I get that done, that actually has an adventure in it, and actually it was an adventure for the Cool originally, but I looked at the adventure and I'm like, the Shackleton's a rescue salvage vehicle. This adventure looks much more appropriate to that. So I had to move it around, but that's what my job is as publisher, and every hat man except for the drawing art part. I am thankfully not the art department anymore.
So where can we find your products listed?
Your drive-through RPG. It's I'm not big enough to have my own stuff yet. I am Mongoose. I am not. I am still dude in a garage, well, as it were.
They can. We'll put links in the video description so people can easily find you.
Yeah.
It's kind of a long name, but Thornwood-Daarnulud, and
yeah.
If you just type in Herald ships, I think you'll.
Herald-class Starships. Usually, Herald is usually been enough. I've noticed it'll usually bring you up pretty close. That and Starships should get you what you need.
All right, good. So
also, it should be tagged under Traveler 5.
Oh yeah, go on. No, tagged under the Traveler 5.
Yeah, it should be tagged under Traveler 5.
Do you have a website or social media?
I am on the Facebook, and I technically have a Discord now.
Oh, cool. Thanks for I see you around. You participate a lot in the Traveler RPG headquarters Facebook group, and I appreciate that. So
I like to keep my hands. No, I appreciate you having it. Like I said, I thought that idea when you were like, "Hey, we're going to have surprises and stuff," and then the whole, that I thought was a really beautiful thing. And I like what you do with the community. And I like that you keep it pretty civil. Oh no, I support it.
When do you think the Shackleton will be ready? Will we be talking about it next year about its great success, or will we still be talking about that it's about to come out?
No. I'm actually been working it out. I actually hit my second wall when I discovered lift infantry companies. There's a lot of vehicle space. It turns out, like a lot. I mean, the tanks are small. They're only like 2 tons. Yes, they're incredibly technically light tanks. I reinvented the Sherman in Traveler 5. I mean, it's technically a medium tank, but it's small and and kind of nimble. But those troop carriers are humongous at like 5 tons. And then I haven't even gotten to the artillery sleds or the recovery vehicles. And I'm just like, wow, I've forgotten how much vehicles the military actually uses, even an infantry unit. And so I might have to squeeze them back down to just an infantry unit with maybe not but 1 or 2 companies of armor because work. Also, probably because I'm a dum-dum and I have to go through and make everything. Like, okay, I am not just going to give them an off-the-shelf thing. I am going to build them my special stuff because I am a nerd and it is what I do. Also, stage effects, yeah. So, yeah, I've been building vehicles and fleshing out a mercenary regiment, and yeah, that's looking to get cut down a bit more. A lot of cutting to be done, it turns out.
What are your plans for the next year with COVID clears up and we can go out and play? Do you have any conventions
I'm actually, depending on how things go, maybe. I'm not. Well, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not one for the public eye. I'm not very sociable. I'm kind of a hermit.
I was social distancing before it was cool.
I really was. I am. I'm a total ass hermit, and if I could get just delivery of awesome food and my mountaintop internet, yeah. Come up here, you want some answers? I will give you answers from on top of my mountain. I am the great hermit. Magnus knows all, sees all, tells what he decides to, because I'm a dick.
Excuse the mess. I don't clean up my hermitage very often. It's just cluttered.
Yeah. It is kind of a little cluttered. But I'm going to get to that tomorrow. I did shopping yesterday, and today I'm doing this. So,
right.
One grown-up thing a day.
Right.
Do the minimum one grown-up thing a day. And make me officially a grown-up.
Well, Craig, we've come to the end of the interview.
All right. It was a pleasure, as always.
Hey, man, it was really great talking to you. I wish you all the best in your Shackleton. I almost said the Shackleford. This is a rusty Shackleford. The Shackleton.
Yeah, no, Shackleton. Yep.
And it was really cool. Thank you for supporting this event. And
my pleasure.
Glad to see us.
Oh, indeed. No, you've been, like I said, I've always appreciated the atmosphere, and I thought you run a good community. So
Thanks.
I am happy to support. And again, thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for your kind words, sir. Well,
You're
folks, I'm your host, Frank Succardi, also known as CyborgPrime, and I've been talking with Craig A. Glesner of Thornwood-Daarnulud LLC, the authors of the Herald-class Yacht, which you can pick up. Tell us again where we can purchase your titles.
The lovely drivethrurpg.com, people.
Fantastic.
Thornwood-Daarnulud LLC, Herald-class Starships.
Great. Craig, thank you so much for participating in our third annual Mayday Traveler Day event.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for having me.
And thank you, dear listener, for joining us today. That's all for now, travelers. Until next time, happy traveling.